Good evening. So, story time. So, because it is Memorial Day, right? Because it is Memorial Day, and since we're honoring our nation, I'm going to tell you a little story. So, I was years ago, uh, uh, probably about maybe 8, 10 years ago, somewhere in that ballpark. Um, I was in Oklahoma, and I was down there for a hazmat class, and it was phenomenal. Not only like ammunition, but also like chemicals and the like, right? Um, I even have a book that I can look up any chemical that I can come in contact with, and I can learn all about it. It's really cool. Um, but the class was 3 weeks. It was a good class. Um, and one day, when I got out of class and so forth, I was still in uniform, and I'm a guy that when I'm traveling, I like to explore at least a little bit if I can, right? Um, local cuisine, maybe see some sights while I'm there. It only makes sense, right? You're traveling. Why would you not visit the sites? Just saying, right? So um, I found a little restaurant slash bar, right? Um, and I walked in and I sat down. And the young lady behind the counter asked, "What do you have?" And I said, "Well, I could go for a nice cold Coca-Cola." And it was hot. I didn't realize how hot like it can get down even Oklahoma. But the fact that I'm in full uniform, sleeves down, long pants, boots, right? Everybody probably thought I was crazy for not taking my top off or something, or at least getting more comfortable. But it was what it was. I had ice cold Coke, so it didn't matter to me any. But sucker for Coke, I can't tell you, man. A good Coca Cola, ooh buddy, Coca Cola, man, can't beat the real thing. But as I'm in there, and me and this young lady behind the counter are talking, and there's only probably a handful of us in there at this time, and it was probably early afternoonish. It was like maybe 4:30ish. I guess that would be like middle afternoon or maybe even evening, but still. Um, so we kind of all got into a little bit of a conversation, and the young lady behind the counter, she asked me a question. She's like, "So why do you do it? Why do you put on that uniform, and why do you go out and defend people that may not give you the same respect that you'll give them?" Pretty pretty brutally honest question, right? And at the time, I didn't know how to answer that. But I said, "Well, why do you stand behind this counter?" And it was almost like a little bit of a went off in her head real slow. She looked at me and she kind of cocked her head to one side a little bit, and she's like, "Point received." No, no, that was the joke that I had with her, and we had a good laugh out of it and so forth. And I looked at her and I got kind of serious for a minute. And I said, "Well, it's because when I joined up, they were looking for a few good men." And I did it because I'm one of the good ones. And she got kind of teary eyed and she's like, well, thank you for what you do. Anything that you want is on the house. And I'm just like, holy cow. But I didn't take advantage of it. I'm not one of them. I ordered I try to find one of the cheapest sandwiches on the damn menu kind of thing, right? I mean, I try to be as right, integrity, you know. Um, don't take advantage of someone's kindness, because when someone renders kindness, you should repay the favor. And so we all kind of sat around, the probably the half a dozen of us. We're all in there. There's some older folks, and so there was a couple of there was a couple, and they were probably in their 50s. And there was a couple, they were probably in their 30s. They probably got off work and stopped in for a drink or whatever, right? And so we just kind of sat around and talked. And of course, they obviously knew that I wasn't from around there and so forth, and they were asking me some questions about where I was from and what I was down there for. And obviously, I didn't go into total detail, but I gave them enough to at least let them know that I wasn't gaslighting them, right? And so, but yeah, um, call it an homage. I guess in that sense, I was kind of a leader in the room at that point, and they honored me by allowing me to have a free sandwich and a coke, and then some great conversation with some different folks that I haven't met yet. Now at the time, I wasn't sure if I should go in this place in uniform. I hadn't got back to the hotel yet to change from uniform into civvies, but I went right from the base to the restaurant because my belly was grumbling so loud. I thought I was gonna jump out of my body and head down the street kind of thing. And so, and I was so thirsty, you could have gave me a glass of sand and I would have been perfectly happy. But but so I guess where am I going with this? Since we're on Memorial Day, and we're remembering the sacrifice of those who put their lives on the line. And it's not just the military, it's also first responders, right? Our police, our fire, our EMT people, our nurses, our medical staff. But I guess how I have tried to repay that kindness is like what I'm doing here now. Because there have been a lot of people over the years that have shown me kindness and love in one way, shape, or form, either while in uniform or something I did for them or whatever. And so this is my way of giving back, serving those that I love. But, anyways, hope you're all having a great night. Lots of love. Until next time.